The wind cuts through Berlin like an unseen blade. It slips through streets, ripped open by shell fire, crawls over blackened stone, and pours into shattered windows like a cold breath from the grave. Above the city, the sky hangs low and colorless, pressed down by smoke and ash. There is no longer morning or night, only an endless twilight, broken by the flash of artillery and the dull orange glow of fires that refuse to die. Each explosion rolls through the ground, like a distant earthquake, shaking walls, rattling bones, reminding everyone still alive that time is almost gone. Deep beneath the ruined city, behind layers of reinforced concrete and steel, Adolf Hitler sits in a bunker that has become a tomb before it is sealed. The air is thick and stale, heavy with sweat, oil, and the sharp, metallic scent of fear. The corridors are narrow, the ceilings low, the lights dim and flickering. Every footstep echoes too loudly, as if the bunker itself is listening. Maps line the walls, maps of a world that no longer exists. Divisions marked in red and blue, arrows pushing forward into territories already lost. Symbols standing in for men who are either dead, captured, or running for their lives. This is the day Hitler loses control of his own war, not in a single scream or sudden realization, but slowly, quietly, as reality slips beyond the reach of his voice. He sits hunched over the table, his body betraying him. His left hand trembles uncontrollably, fingers twitching as if grasping for something invisible. His shoulders sag beneath a uniform that once symbolized power, now hanging loosely on a man who looks smaller than the myth he built around himself. His eyes flick from face to face, then back to the maps, then into empty space. He speaks, but the room no longer bends to his words. Reports arrive constantly. Couriers rush in with pale faces and trembling hands. Radios crackle with fragmented messages, units wiped out, supply lines severed, commanders missing, entire formations swallowed by the Soviet advance. Each report is another fracture in the illusion, another confirmation that the war has slipped beyond command. Outside the bunker, Berlin is being consumed. Soviet artillery pounds the city day and night, turning entire blocks into piles of smoking rubble. The sound is relentless, a deep, rolling thunder that seeps into the mind until it feels like part of the air itself. Buildings collapse with screams of twisting steel and cracking stone. Fires race through neighborhoods, feeding on everything wood, fabric, paper, flesh. The smell of smoke clings to everything, burning the throat, stinging the eyes. Civilians hide in basements and subway tunnels, packed together in darkness. Mothers press children against their chests, whispering reassurances they do not believe. Old men clutch photographs of sons long gone, medals earned in a different war, in a different Germany. The promise of victory has narrowed to a single hope: survive the next hour. Above ground, Soviet soldiers move carefully through the ruins. Their uniforms are caked with mud and dust. Their faces are hard, carved by years of fighting that began far to the east. They have marched through frozen fields, across rivers choked with bodies, through villages erased from maps. Many carry memories heavier than their weapons, memories of burned homes, mass graves, families that will never be whole again. They advance now, not with excitement, but with grim determination. This war must end. Inside the bunker, Hitler issues orders that no longer mean anything. He demands counterattacks from divisions that exist only on paper. He commands movements across roads already under enemy control. He speaks of relief forces that will arrive at dawn, of secret weapons that will turn the tide. The words hang in the air, hollow and fragile. The generals stand stiffly around the table. Some stare at the maps, their eyes fixed as if willing the lines to move. Others look at the floor, jaws clenched, faces drained of color. They understand what Hitler cannot accept. The war is no longer guided from Berlin. Command has fragmented. Units in the field act on instinct, desperation, or simple survival. Orders from the bunker arrive too late, or not at all. For months, control has been slipping through Hitler's fingers. The first cracks appeared at Stalingrad, when an entire army vanished into snow and blood. There, the myth of invincibility shattered, even if Hitler refused to see it. At Kursk, the last great offensive bled itself, dry against prepared defenses. In Normandy, the Western Allies returned to the continent, opening a second wound, that would never close. Each defeat tightened Hitler's grip on power and weakened it at the same time. He responded not with flexibility, but with obsession. He centralized every decision, mistrusted every general, punished initiative as betrayal. The war became personal. Strategy gave way to willpower. Reality was dismissed as weakness. Now, in April 1945, the consequences are absolute. The German army no longer fights as a unified force. It collapses inward, breaking into isolated pockets of resistance. Teenagers from the Hitler Youth man into tank weapons in the streets. Old men in worn uniforms march out to face tanks with rifles from another era. Fanaticism replaces strategy. Sacrifice replaces sense. Hitler rages at his subordinates. He accuses them of treason, cowardice, incompetence. He cannot accept that the war was lost by forces larger than loyalties by industry, manpower, logistics, time. In his mind, Germany was undefeated on the battlefield. It was betrayed by human weakness. This belief becomes his final refuge. Eva Braun moves through the bunker with quiet grace. She smiles when spoken to, avoids discussions of the front, avoids the future. She dresses carefully, as if preparing for a celebration that will never come. There is a strange calm about her, as though the nearness of the end has stripped away fear and left only acceptance. Around her, secretaries type documents for a government that no longer governs. Officers draft orders that will never be delivered. The bunker becomes a stage where everyone continues to play their role even after the story has ended. Above, the Reichstag stands amid the ruins, battered but defiant. It has become a symbol again not of power, but of finality. Soviet guns pound its surroundings relentlessly. Each explosion sends shards of stone flying into the air. Smoke wraps around its columns like a funeral shroud. Hitler receives conflicting reports and dismisses them all. He retreats further into isolation, sleeping little, eating less. His health deteriorates rapidly. The tremors worsen. His voice, once sharp and commanding, now cracks with rage and exhaustion. He speaks of destiny, of history, of sacrifice, but these words no longer carry weight. They echo off concrete walls and fall to the floor. This is the moment control truly vanishes. Not when the enemy reaches Berlin, but when Hitler's words stop shaping reality. The war no longer responds to him. It belongs now to the soldiers freezing in the streets, to the civilians crushed beneath rubble, to the men advancing through fire with memories of unimaginable loss. It belongs to chaos. In the final days, Hitler dictates his testament. He blames generals, politicians, entire peoples. He rewrites the story even as it collapses. The pen scratches across paper while artillery roars above. These are his last attempts at control words sealed underground, disconnected from the world they once commanded. On April 30th, 1945, there is no dramatic pause in the fighting. The guns do not fall silent. The war does not acknowledge his end. Behind closed doors in the bunker, a gunshot echoes briefly, swallowed almost immediately by the thunder outside. A regime vanishes not with a roar, but with indifference. Above ground, the battle continues. Soviet soldiers push deeper into the city, fighting room to room, stairwell to stairwell. The cost is enormous. Blood stains the rubble. Screams echo through corridors that were once homes. Slowly, relentlessly, resistance collapses. Days later, the fighting fades. The artillery falls silent. Smoke drifts upward into a pale sky. Berlin lies broken, its streets littered with debris. Bodies covered hastily with coats, with blankets, with nothing at all. Survivors emerge cautiously from basements, blinking in the light, unsure if the world has truly changed. The war in Europe ends soon after. Victory comes not with celebration, but with exhaustion. The continent is scarred beyond recognition. Cities are ruins. Millions are dead. Entire generations are missing. This is the legacy of the day. Hitler lost control of his own war. Not a single instant, but a slow unraveling across years of blood and fire. A lesson written in concrete and ash. That absolute power collapses inward, that wars consume those who start them, and that no man, no matter how feared, can command reality forever. When the wind moves freely through the ruins of Berlin, carrying the smell of smoke and damp stone. History does not speak his name with reverence. It carries it like a warning.